Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this week's episode. We want to promote where you can see us. For tickets, go to joegattoofficial.com to see all my tour dates. And for Steve's, go to punchup.live/Steve-Byrne. That's Byrne. He makes it super easy to find him. And now, on to the episode.
There was a problem, yo, I'll solve. Word to your mother.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the newest episode of Two Cool Moms. I'm Joe Gatto.
I'm Steve Byrne.
And we are your two cool moms here to help you with your life's dilemmas and just, chat for the next 30 to 45 to 1 hour, depending.
Yeah. By the way, I love the smell of coffee.
Delicious
Coffee smells great.
Good.
I don't drink coffee, but I love the smell.
But you just had a banger hot cocoa, as you mentioned.
I had a hot cocoa like a third grader on a cold winter day.
Gotta love it,
and I loved it.
You do the teas? You drink tea?
Every now and then. I love a
What's
I
a
love
hot
iced
beverage?
tea.
What's your hot beverage of choice? I know iced tea.
Hot chocolate.
Hot cocoa.
Yeah.
You go cocos.
Or tequila.
A hot one.
Yeah.
Hot tequila.
Tequila always
Do you ever do
tastes
like a hot toddy?
Never. No.
You done a chocolatey Mexican? You put tequila in the hot chocolate.
A chocolatey Mexican.
Yeah, you put a tequila in the hot chocolate. You never
That
had
sounds
that?
like it sounds like a DH for the Mets.
that was a baseball reference, and I got it. Wow!
Hey!
Look at us! Hey-o. Oh,
We're back.
I did. When you were younger, did you ever do like a lemonade stand or whatever? Of
course, yeah.
So I did a hot cocoa stand once. Me and Jason Joseph, me and my boy.
That's tough to
And
keep hot,
yeah,
right?
we were outside for like 12 minutes, and then my father came back from work, and he's like, "We're free. Like, we make a hot cocoa stand." He's like, first of all, nobody's walking on the streets, you idiot. There's snow on the ground, and then second, the hot cocoa is now cold cocoa. Get inside. It was so because my mom was like, "That's good. You be entrepreneurs. Go, yes."
Yeah.
She helped us make it, and my dad gets home. Was like, "What are you doing, you dummies? Get inside."
Just right to the fact
Right
of
to
the
the
matter.
fact. There was no sidewalk. It was covered in snow. I remember. And I remember across the street, one of our neighbors was like shoveling, and we're like just sitting there watching. I'm like, "You want a hot cocoa?"
But did you ever shovel driveways?
Yeah,
That was the jam.
that was the way to make the.
That's where you make some
You
money.
get the cheddar big time there.
Yeah.
That's pre-plow. That's pre-plow action. When guys come in with the plow, do you remember that?
I
Honk honk. They
remember,
hung at the door.
BC and pre-plow.
Yeah. When people do the honk honk, did you ever get that? So when they clear your driveway, you go outside, they roll down the window. $20, I'll do your driveway.
Oh, really?
You never got that?
No.
Yeah.
We always just had kids in the neighborhood that did it, and so I was the kid in our neighborhood that I would go do that and
break your back.
clean house, and then blow it all at like Pizza Hut playing like video games.
100%
You know,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I did. We used to. So when I got the new house where I live now, we inherited a lot of things. Meaning, like they had their landscaper who took over the. They didn't even know it was new, right? So the first year I'm living there, no snow. The second year I'm living there, huge snowfall.
right?
I wake up, I'm like, all right, what the hell am I gonna do here, right? And so I was like, all right, I had to figure out. I'm like Googling plow stuff, whatever. I go outside, it's all gone. Snow's all gone, and I go, what happened or whatever. I look back on the cameras. A guy came and plowed the whole place, right? I get a phone call from the old owner. He's like, hey, Tommy came and plowed your your driveway, and he's charging me. Yeah, I was like, who's Tommy? He's like, oh, he's the guy who plows the house.
Oh, wow.
So but I had skipped a season, so I had no idea I even had
You
a
didn't
plow
even
guy.
know.
He just showed up and took care of the problem.
Oh, that's incredible.
So it was so funny. So I was like, oh, and then I was like, well, you can pay him. It's your problem now, bitch. No, I paid him, but it was so interesting.
Yeah.
Just like I was like, oh, I was like, what do I do? I have this big driveway. I don't even know what to do. And there we go. Boom. He just came in and did it.
Haunted?
My house? Possibly. We just talked about this yesterday.
Did you really?
2 of my dogs are starting to do this thing where they bark at a corner where nothing's at. 2
Really?
of my dogs.
Are you serious?
Swear. Tartufo and Napoleon. Tartufo and Cupcake get scared of a corner near where they eat, bark at the corner. Cupcake straight up pisses herself and runs away. And Tartufo runs in a circle and then bears down and barks at the corner.
You got a Blair Witch in your house.
I've got a Blair bitch in my house. I got this bitch named Blair in my house. Yeah. So it was very weird.
So the dogs know something's up.
Not all of them. It's just these 2. So maybe these 2 have something going on. I don't know.
But they don't bark. No other dog barks in any other corner.
None of the other 12. And it's the same area. It's near where they eat, though. So then I was also thinking, it's right by the outside, and there might be some sort of like rodent issue or something living like in the bushes or something that they're seeing because there's glass windows and everything right where they are. So I'm thinking maybe it's something outside. It's very interesting.
Have you ever had a haunted experience?
Yes, multiple.
What was
I
the
want you
scariest
go first.
one?
I want to hear yours first.
What was the scariest one?
I didn't necessarily say scary, but from beyond.
Okay. Like Bed Bath?
I was touched from Bed Bath Beyond.
What
There was this
I can't
lavender.
even-
This
are you
lavender
making this up or
scented
is
hand
this real?
soap that came to me in the night. A lavender scented hand soap from Bed Bath and Beyond came to me in the night. No, my dad. I told. Did I ever tell you a story about my dad with the acorn?
No.
You won't remember anyway. You don't even listen to the podcast. I think I told the story. I'm not sure though. There were so many episodes. I'm not sure. But my father had passed away, and I was driving in Philadelphia, born and raised, where I was thinking about my dad. You got it. And I'm driving.
I was thinking the AIDS song.
Oh yeah, Philadelphia.
AIDS.
That's it.
Sorry.
Bruce Springsteen. Rest in peace. Still alive? Yeah.
Springsteen?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Jesus.
so we're driving. So I'm driving back. I was working down in outside Philly, Manayunk. It was the name of the town I was working in. And my dad, I was thinking of my dad. He just passed away a little while ago, and I had my first big job. And I was thinking about him as I was driving.
Right.
I'm driving through a parking lot that connected the shopping center and my apartment building there. And I'm driving through, and for some reason I just see this tree. And I was thinking about my dad. The radio music was on the radio, and I was like doing like a heavy fill dye, not a full blown tear, but just a fill dye.
Yeah.
You caught in my feels. And I'm driving, and I see a big tree with it, and I just fixate on this one acorn that was up in the tree, and I see it, and I'm driving slow through the parking lot, 20 miles an hour, and I see the acorn fall out of the tree as I'm driving. Now I'm moving 20 miles per hour, windows down,
Yeah.
and it bounces and lands in my window, and I catch it like in the crook of my
No
neck.
way.
I swear to God, as if I hugged
Really?
it, as if I'm hugging somebody. Because I was thinking, oh my God, I wish I could hug my dad one more time. I'm getting filled up thinking about it. And I hugged, and I caught the acorn like this as I was driving. I still have the acorn.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
See, I don't think those things are coincidences.
That's
I really
the
don't.
that's the only thing I was like, oh, that's pretty in depth. Yeah, that's pretty. And it's kind of thing I think that has to happen to you, because you can explain stuff away all the time. You're like, oh, well, but it's pretty surreal to be thinking about my father at that moment, thinking I wish I could hug him, seeing an acorn in a tree and just fixating on it, watching it fall, and then catching
Bounces
it.
and
Like
catching
that's
it.
moving through a moving vehicle. Like I'm going 20 miles an hour, and
Yeah.
it lands through my open window, and I catch it. Like that's way too many dots to connect for me.
Isn't it great that happened and you didn't round a corner and see like a homeless guy taking a shit in the middle of the sidewalk? Like, we got to clean these streets up. Sorry, Dad. I'll talk to you
Sorry,
later.
Dad, I'll try to do it. Yeah, see you later, pal.
Oh my God, I think that is, I don't know. You hear about those stories, right?
For
And
sure.
it's so sweet. And it's interesting. My uncle passed away, and they had a wind-up clock, an antiquated wind-up clock that had been in our family for a long time. I think it was my grandmother's, and then my uncle took over her apartment, kept the clock, whatever, and he had a brain tumor, and his girlfriend was living with him at the time, and she was going across the street to visit him at the hospital, and she sees the clock, and she's like, oh, it's out, so I, wind the clock. Or whatever.
Wind it up.
And so she goes over, sees him, and he had passed away. And he passed away like, let's say, 2:45. She came back, and the clock stopped at 2:45. She went to wind it, and it snapped. So the clock stopped, and
Time
it was
is
broken.
frozen.
Time is frozen.
Wow.
2:45.
That's pretty interesting.
Pretty wild.
She broke the fucking clock.
She broke the clock, that bitch.
That bitch broke the
Yeah.
clock, so she didn't buy
Family
a new
heirloom.
clock. Broke the
Yeah.
fucking heirloom. I tried to be like, oh, that's when he died. She moved the fucking thing. She like looked over her shoulders like nobody's here. Oh my God, you guys
He'll
won't
be
believe
here
what
soon.
happened.
Yeah.
Then this acorn fell out. Oh wow, that's pretty sick too. Yeah.
Pretty wild that the exact time that he died is when it stopped and
Yeah.
clock broke. So I don't know. Odd for sure.
My that's interesting. Do you think that there is? Do you think when you're dead, your kids will miss you?
Excuse me?
Yeah, think about that all the time. You think they'll be like, how long do they get over it? Who gets over it first? Your son
Oh,
or
my
your
daughter for sure.
She gets over it. Like,
she get over
right
it pretty
quick.
quickly.
Yeah.
When she blows everything in the will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just gonna. Oh, first of all, how much is in the will? Let's be honest. Besides a broken clock. She's like, who gets this broken clock?
Hey, Dad, am I in the won't?
No, you. I know. I think about that all the time. Like you think about. Well, you're different than me because you still have both your parents, right?
I have both my folks.
They're yours.
Yeah.
They're your parents,
My-
right? Okay, so you have both of them.
Yes.
And then what about Jess? What's Jess's your wife's situation? She has.
Both folks, yeah.
Okay, so they're all there.
We're all
So you're
very
surrounded by
fortunate.
life, right? So everybody's dead on my side. Thanks for bringing it up. But I lost my parents early, right? So my dad, 19.
Yeah.
My mom,
I never had grandparents growing up, though.
really.
Yeah, my grandfather passed away when I was, I think, 9 or 10.
She don't remember, yeah.
I remember him, yeah, but I everybody had grandparents. I don't really.
You started out by saying I never had grandparents, and I said you said died 9 or 10. I said, oh, so you didn't remember? He goes, no, I remember. So what the fuck are you talking about? I never had grandparents. Really? Yeah, they died last
one
week.
for 4, but he passed
for.
pretty
Gotcha.
early. But
No, I hear
yeah,
you.
for sure.
I know the experience. Like I have some people who have their that my age still have their grandparents, which is insane to me.
Right,
People
yeah.
in their 30s that still have their grandparents, 40s.
Yeah.
But so like I think that just is always like I'm always like, oh, I wonder how much they're gonna remember me, or like how much they will, because I think after a certain point they start you get more memories, you build up more stuff. But because my dad was 19, I was 19 when I lost my dad, right? So then like when do your memory start? Like that you really, really remember stuff? 7, 6, 7, right?
Probably there.
So
yeah.
that gives me like 14, 13 years of
Sure, yeah.
remembering stuff, 12 years of that. So it's pretty insane to think of the impact you have. So I think about like, I'm trying to like get all the impact I can with these kids before, because clock's ticking.
Right.
All puns intended to your uncle. And it's almost 2:45, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like trying to work on that. But I wonder that sometimes, like how long they'll like, or what they, not even how long, because it's not really that, they will remember, but like what will they?
Right.
What will they? Like if we had our druthers, we'd be like, oh, we want to remember we were a great dad, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be something stupid. Like, do you remember the way Dad used to like pop out his belly and we'd all laugh? Like, it's going to be something stupid.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. Oh, it's 2 in the afternoon. This is when my dad's waking up.
Yes.
know?
Right? Yeah.
It's amazing. You lost both your parents at an early age, and you became Captain Fatbelly.
Yes.
So you, much like Batman, became a superhero.
That's right.
In your latter years.
My parents were murdered by pastry. My father choked. My father choked on a Neapolitan. That's true. That's funny. I think about that. Yeah, but you know what? This is what the thing is too. Like you try.
You've given them so many experiences.
No, that's true. But then I was
already.
literally just going to say that because
Okay.
it is going to be the stuff that you not that you try to give good experiences, but you do have good experiences.
Sure, yeah.
But then I always think about the funny, like little things that didn't mean anything in a moment. The number like one memory I have of my dad was the time he came home. It was the summer. We were in the pool. And my dad came home from work selling life insurance. So, it was like 6 o'clock. And we're all hanging out in the pool, and I said to my dad, and I said, "Oh, come in the pool, come in the pool." And he's like, "No," he's like, "I'm not gonna." He's like, "It's getting late. We got to go eat dinner. Blah, blah, blah. I don't have time to change." I said, "So just come in like that." And he said, "Okay." And he jumped in his full suit over the side.
Really?
And just jumped in the pool, and we laughed hysterically. My mother was cursing him out. What are you gonna do? I gotta do it. Like we were laughing, like it was really funny. And that he wasn't like, "Let me do that," right?
Sure.
And that is
yeah.
like the one main vivid. I could still see him hop in the side. Almost taking the
That
pool
almost
out.
makes me cry, Joe. That is like so awesome. Yeah. Wow.
So you think about those little things that you do as a dad, like and then I think about like when my kids, I'm like, oh, we did this awesome. We go to Legoland every year for your birthday. We put on this big thing. We do all these trips together, and like it's going to be the little things they remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which is interesting.
I need a moment. That was such an awesome story. Oh my God. That's not even my dad, but it's like that is so
because your
cool.
dad's alive. You could call your dad right now if you wanted, but mine's dead. Thanks again for bringing it up, Steve. It's not very nice of you to keep rubbing your alive father in my face. Send your dad an acorn.
But that's such a cool memory, and that's such like a dad thing. But that's also, dude, that's such a you thing.
Yeah, it's true, right?
That's totally where you get it from.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know you've told multiple stories about your mom and your father being so outgoing, so gregarious, so honest, but also that playful side.
Yeah, I definitely got my dad's
That
playful.
that's you, dude.
Dad,
I could see you doing that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You do it every day in the airport. You do it everywhere we go.
Everywhere you go, yeah.
Everywhere we go. Oh, there's a door. It won't. It works, but I won't. It will not work when I go to it.
My favorite thing is walking into an unlocked door, pretending it's locked. My favorite gag, kicking it and being like, and then the look after, being like, "What is going?" Like looking at the people. Who
Remember
work there.
Niagara Falls? You did it. There was the. I mean, it's the most ridiculous. It's such a. They had this stupid like cut out huge thing of the falls and a fake door. Like it was a sticker.
Which is clearly against the wall,
It
right?
was clearly against the wall. Like a 12 by 14 foot sticker. And Joe, all these tourists are around, and everybody is the gift shops there, the tickets, whatever. Joe literally, he just turned around, Jake, and goes, "Watch this," and then he ran.
No, it wasn't a door. It was a photo of a bridge that went to the
that's
falls.
what it was. Yeah.
And the falls were behind us.
Yes. And you ran into it. Like, remember when Dr. Evil ran into the thing and then fell? Like, that was it. And then you.
Then I got up and complained.
You got up and you always act amazed. You're like, wait, what? What
is this bridge doesn't work? Oh, you crumbled. You and Jiggy had tears. Whenever I look at you two when we're on the road together and I go, "Watch this." Oh, it's my favorite moment. One of my favorite moments.
It was hilarious. And just everybody's faces. And the thing now is though, like it takes people 3 seconds. They go, "What did oh, that's Joe." And then it becomes a thing.
You know what I do? A new thing now, which has been really fun for me. I ask people to take a picture of me while I'm jumping on 3. And I'll jump on 2. You know those stupid photos when you jump and freeze? 1, 2, 3, and you jump. I'll go 1, 2, and I'll jump. I'll go, "Did you get it?" Like, "No, I was waiting for 3." And I'll jump on 3. It's so fun. I highly recommend it to friends.
That should be your new show. Watch this.
Watch this. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. Watch this. That is a fun idea. Maybe I'll develop that out.
You should do it.
Would you watch this, y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is funny. Watch this.
Watch this.
Watch this with Joe Gatto. That's my equivalent of hold my beer. That's my
100%.
equivalent, right? Because I don't drink. It's
100%.
gotta be
That
watch
is so
this.
you.
Yeah. Do you think that Jess has moments that with your kids? Do you think your wife with your kids has more moments than you have with your kids that we're on the road so much? Do you think there's like, I know she spends more time, right? Like Bessie spends more time, but do you think that, are you missing out on moments, or are you lucky enough to make them as family moments?
I think she's more practical,
Yeah.
right? Like she's going to do the things that, are everyday life. Like she can make dinner. She can take you to soccer.
Got
She
it.
can do this. She can do that. I'm the one that's like, let's get in the car and let's just go to that hiking trail. Let's
Yeah.
go see that dinosaur exhibit. Let's go, usually it's stuff that involves spending money, which she's like, oh God. But she's a lot less spontaneous. And I think that, again, that's probably why we get along so well.
But she goes along for the ride, which I love.
She goes along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
She'll feel in the moment like, all right, let's do, kind of thing like that.
Even if it's Hawaii, she's like, all right, we shouldn't be doing this. But,
Let's go.
But
Yeah.
aloha. Yeah, she's a lot more. Yeah, she's a thinker. She's a planner.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I remember there were times like my daughter was in first grade. We're in California, and it's like we have the Disney season pass, and it's like it's a beautiful day out. I'm home. It's Monday. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm gonna go get Liv. I'm gonna take her to Disney." She's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "We're just gonna go to Disney today." She's like, "But she's in school." I'm like, "It's first grade. Like she knows D."
Yeah,
D,
I know.
D,
She'll
D,
figure it
dog.
out.
D.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
And I would take her out, and it got to the point even where she was like, "Are we going to Disney again?" Like, I was like, "I'm telling you, one day you're gonna realize how much you're taking this for granted. You're gonna love it." And when we moved to Nashville, about a year into Nashville, she said it from the back of the car. She goes, "Dad," I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I miss all those times you took me to Disney. You were
See?
right."
And
I was
you're like, "You're
"See?
right. Told you."
Told you.
Yeah. You can remember this when I'm gone.
And I'll tell you another thing. Your mom's wrong. I am successful.
Take that. All right. Speaking of being successful, let's be successful with helping some of our people.
Let's do it.
Yes, we are here to help solve your dilemmas. The Two Cool Moms are on the case. At Two Cool Moms Pod on Instagram or
TwoCoolMomsPod@gmail.com.
Please submit.
Email us,
Yeah.
send us videos, queries, questions, whatever,
We're
thoughts.
here to help.
Yeah, we're here to help you. And guess what? No promo code.
No promo code.
No promo code.
You just gotta hear.
Everything's on the arm.
That's it. Right on the brooch.
Let's do it. Right on the brunch.
All right. This comes from Katie. Hey, mommies. I'm 24 and recently got engaged back in October on Halloween night. Any advice on planning a ceremony or wedding? I've been married before and was always extremely hesitant when it came to the idea of getting married again. This time, I really want to make it as simple as possible and enjoy the day rather than stress. How can I make the best of a small celebration?
You're always good with this.
Yeah, just do it. First of all, I mean, yeah, take his dream of a big wedding away because you already did it with, you already struck out, so he's got to bear that brunt. He can have a big fun wedding.
Yeah, he already knows that your body was used and abused by another man,
That's not fair.
and he got what he wanted.
That's it.
And he left.
And he left. That's
He
it.
ravaged your
So-
body. He did everything he wanted
I think
to.
we should start over.
Okay. Will you please keep
I
that
gotta
in?
keep that in. That's great. I wanted that out. That was very funny.
By the way, she got engaged on Devil's Night.
I was like, that's great. Well, here's what I would say about this, about the
Yeah.
intimate one. You're going to be able to see, which is cool. You're going to have two different experiences because you probably had the big gaudy wedding, which we all do, right? Or most people do. And you realize that it's not worth it. It's really just good to have a nice collection of people that matter
Yeah.
in your life. So what I would say with the smaller ceremony, you do get to capitalize on time spent with your guests. You get
Yes.
to make memories and have fun with your friends and family at a smaller scale, as opposed to working the room with a big wedding
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I will say that's the first thing that's going to bring you new joy with that and your husband is to have some memories of spending time with your guests and actually partying with them instead of being at a party. I think that's the biggest difference between a big wedding and a little wedding. You party with your guests or you're at a party at the big wedding. It's like a little different. So I would say that's the number one thing. The number two thing that's great about a smaller one is that you could really pay attention to some of the details in a different way. And you can make it feel very much your own. Like, I remember, I love photography, and we found this thing at the last minute about putting up a Polaroid wall where we would just have
Right.
everybody, snap a picture and then put up, and write a little note on the back of the Polaroid. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So you could take your time to find stuff that's really about you, and that could be really cool to add those little details, which kind of get lost at a big wedding because you're like, I can't order 170 of these things or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing that'll help. And then also the food. You could dive in a little bit better with the food. You don't have to do the penne alla vodka for 400 people. Where
Right.
you could try to do like an artisanal linguine fruta de mar.
But the meal, by the way, is that much better because it's so much more intimate
100%.
as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get to enjoy it more.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would echo a lot of your sentiments. And I think I think any couple that has got married or will get married, you'd also romanticize like that Vegas wedding.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
something I kind of wish
Yeah.
we had done.
A
That would
little
have been
lopey
cool.
dopey.
Yeah, to just go with like a handful of your best pals. Go, we're going to Vegas, and you don't even tell them, and then Elvis marries you, and then you just blow it out that weekend. Like
Yeah.
that to me, in retrospect, sounds a lot more fun because then you have all that money for the vacation and your honeymoon or whatever, which would be
And blackjack.
and blackjack, yeah, which you would do well at. I would not do so well.
I think that's cool. Yeah, so I would embrace it, and it sounds like she's on the right path. I feel like she's excited about this from the tone of it. So
Yeah.
excited about a smaller wedding. So yeah, I would definitely embrace the differences and celebrate those. I mean, you do also have to. The hardest part about it is the guest list, right? If you're committing to a small wedding, you're gonna you have to cut off some people, which is tough.
Yeah,
How big
that-
was
that's-
your wedding? Do you remember how many people you had at yours?
I mean, Jess comes from a big family, so she invited like 75 people.
Oh.
I think I had like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And in like retrospect, I wish I had invited more, but then I also felt like all my friends are working.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially at comics, right?
I remember getting an invitation from Sebastian Maniscalco, right, to go to his wedding, and the invitation was an invitation, but there was also like a People magazine with them on the cover. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like they put it on. And I was like, well, I'll read the People. No, I think I still have it in a closet somewhere. The whole People magazine was them. They had articles on them. This
What?
is years
Oh
ago,
my
by the way,
God.
dude. So, I mean, it was like her likes, his likes. They're just like us. What does mom say about it? What does dad like? They had a full-on full-blown People magazine. And it was one of those things where I was so young, I needed to pay my rent, right? I was like, I can't go to this. And then I'm getting all these like messages like, this wedding's fucking crazy. It's so awesome. I mean, they have like their pictures in front of like Sebastian and Lana. And I was like, whoa, that looks sick. And I was like, one of those regrets that I couldn't do it. And then when I was getting hitched, I was like, oh, I should invite Sebastian. I'm just like, he's not going to come. You know, he's, you know, and that was so stupid of me to assume, but I felt like it was more just in my own head, like, oh, it's a burden.
Yeah.
To some of my friends. And I felt like they'd rather work than come to this. Like, why would they? I don't know. It was so selfish and stupid of me.
Of course. You want to give people the opportunity to say no. I think it's a big problem with anything in life.
Yeah.
You always put it on yourself like, oh, I don't want to burn people. Well, if people don't want, give them the chance to say no if they don't want to come, because then you are taking away the chance from them saying yeah.
I'll tell you this. My mom had cancer. She had breast cancer. She didn't tell us. Isn't that crazy?
At your wedding?
No. She
didn't want to bring down the mood.
No, at my wedding, she poked my stomach, goes, you're fat. Literally, she poked my tummy. You're fat.
There you go.
Thanks, Mom. But, I mean, to your point, like, my mom kept it from us for a while, and my dad's like, all right, I got to tell him at some point. And he told us, and he's like, I don't want you to feel a burden or whatever. And I was still going on the road, and they were thinking of me, like, in that regard.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Your mom's still alive, right? Next question.
Let me get our speaker. Hi, son. I love you.
You're fat.
You fat.
Okay.
You're in a phone as fat son. S-U-N.
Xiao Yun fat.
Fat son. Like fat son.
It's just me on a clearance rack.
With some sort of board shorts.
Okay. Kelly says, I get so lazy and tired in the winter. Any tips to keep the winter blues away?
That's a big thing for people. That's seasonal depression, right?
It's so easy to stay inside. It's so easy to be like comfort food. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went through it with the houlidays.
Yeah.
I lost so much weight for the special. Then the holidays hit, and I put it all back on.
Chunk it up.
Double up. So
Do you want more serving? Yeah. Double up. 2 more scoops, baby. Yeah.
I literally ate like I had 2 assholes.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you got to get it back in shape. So I completely agree with you. I understand that. I think it's just like force yourself to get out there. Even if you think it's cold, it's never that cold. Unless it's really cold.
Unless it's really cold.
Yeah.
You know, but even that too, like indoor
gyms
aren't cold.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find destination stuff. Northeast is like where I live is annoyingly cold. And then the seasonal depression, the biggest part for me is the light and dark. It gets dark it's like pitch black out at 4:45.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's like, I hate that. You know, and you know what's really interesting? I see it in my dogs. When I want them, when they're not busy barking at ghosts, they're walking outside in the dark. Like my dogs will be like, they're like falling asleep for the night at like 5 p.m.
Aren't you elated though that the dogs?
Yeah, chill. They chill, which is nice.
Chill so much earlier.
Yeah, that is cool. But I do feel like the darkness is the biggest thing for me. The dark and light thing is worse than the cold. Like I could live with the cold.
Yeah.
But like that, it's so depressing when it's like all of a sudden it's like you look. I still at 5 p.m. I still have 6 hours of my life left. I was gonna live in the pure dark like I'm a fucking bat flapping around a cavern.
Could you do that Alaska thing where it's like 40?
I went to Alaska in June.
Of night?
When I went there, the sun was setting at like 10 p.m. or something crazy. It was like 9 p.m. or something like that. Yeah.
And what time is it?
Which was nuts.
What time does it start? What time sunrise?
The day started as like 6 to 9 or something like that. 6 a.m. or so. Yeah. So it was
really?
Still,
so it was kind of normal.
Yeah. By last night there, I think it was the beginning of June. I think the sun set at like 8:35.
That's wild.
It was just crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It might have even been later, I think, but it was really cool.
Just consecutive days of night.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Oh, no. I mean, I think that would be like super, unless I was fighting crime. If I was like a vigilante, I would want consecutive.
Yeah,
night fights.
Put a rose where your parents,
Yeah, when my mother got taken down by a cannoli. My mother got killed by the cannoli. That's his bad name. I think the best way to deal with it is, I think the first thing is to really, Bessie, my wife, really, really affects her. She gets like, because she was from California too, so she's used to all that warm and stuff. But I think a big thing is to know your triggers and realize what's coming and prep yourself for it.
Right.
Like you get those vitamin D lamps which really helped her. Like
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullshit, but I see how it works on her. It's
Really?
crazy. She
I
puts
never
on-
even heard of that.
Yeah, so they're like basically just a lamp that just shoots out like UV light, and it like she just like looks into this light, stares into this light for a little bit, and it's like recharges her battery, unlike your solar powered watch. So she like loves that.
That sounds exactly like something that would be on the back cover of the Sharper Image.
100%.
Remember that?
Definitely.
Like the Sharper
You
Image.
know,
I'd
by
be
the way, the
fascinated with
Sharper
things.
Image has been replaced with TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop is a scrolling Sharper Image, or
Yeah.
what was the one in the airplane? The
Brookstone.
no, not Brookstone.
Oh.
The
Sky Mall?
Sky Mall.
Sky Mall is the best. I love
Mall's the
Sky
best.
Mall.
Yeah. I had a good friend of mine used to Christmas shop exclusively from the Sky Mall Mac catalog.
I get an 8-foot gargoyle for my garden.
Who doesn't want a
Great.
garden? Who doesn't want a garden?
Samurai
gargoyle?
swords?
I love that. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Oh man, the Sky Mall. That was a great thing to shop at. I'm a sucker for a good bargain. But I would say those UV light things help. You know?
UV lights.
They
Okay.
work, and I think eating right is important too.
You got to eat right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to eat right. But I love taking walks around my neighborhood, even
You even
at
do it in
night.
the cold. You bundle up.
I'll
Like-
bundle up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like
100%.
Kenny from South Park.
I'm Ralphie's brother.
Yeah, that's it. You're out
Yeah,
there.
hey.
Yeah. Wait
But
for
I
me.
bundle up and you force yourself to get out there. And I've never went out and taken a walk and came back and said, I shouldn't have done that.
Don't you think sometimes you've said outside, you're like, fuck, it's cold out there. Why did I do that?
Yes. Yes.
But you're also in Nashville.
But
How cold to get in Nashville?
it doesn't get too cold. I mean, there's nights where it's gotten cold, but I
Cold
also
what?
think it's frame of mind.
Okay.
Frame of mind. Oh, God. I don't want to say it.
Come on.
I was reading a book on the endurance.
Here it is. So,
Captain Ernest Shackleton.
you you're completely
I'm not
making
making
the name
names
up.
up.
Ernest Shackleton.
This is one of the greatest stories in terms of like expedition ever. And you could Google it. Ernest Shackleton.
Okay. Tell me what Ernie did?
They went down to the South Pole on a ship called the Endurance. And they
And
wanted
then one
to
by
be,
one by one.
I think
There
it
was
was like,
12 of them.
What's that?
There was 12 of them. You told me the story, right? Didn't they only eat seals?
No, they survived, I believe, like a year and a half in the Arctic by themselves.
That's crazy.
And he went from, they were literally on an ice shelf, and their ship got crushed and went down. They salvaged supplies. They went and took one of the smaller boats, found a place they could lodge up, and then essentially went to another island to get help. That wasn't there. And then they had to catch the right current. Otherwise, they would drift out in the sea and die. And then that means the guys marooned at the island would die. And they hedged their bets and found this island. And not only did they get to the island, they had to hike from one side of the island to the other and through mountainous terrain and get back in enough time to save those guys on the other side and that side. It was it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And every single member of his crew survived, and it's only because of him. So my point is, there are nights where I go out and I walk, and it's like 18 degrees. It's 15 degrees, okay? But
You think of Ernest Shackleton?
I swear to God I do, because you're going to think
I
it's
dream
ridiculous.
of Ernest.
I swear to God.
I dream of Ernie.
But it's all frame of mind, because those guys, like, I'd seen like these pictures. There was a photographer that had filmed for a little bit, but they would be outside in like 12 degrees working and salvaging the ship in like short sleeve shirts or whatever. And then at night it would get incredibly cold. And I was like, these guys did not have North Face. They didn't have any of it. They just had like the little bit of clothing they did, and they survived. And every time I'm out and it's super cold, I'm like, it's just a frame of mind. Is it really that cold?
You rip the sleeves
Can
off
I
whatever
tell
you're
it?
wearing.
Yeah. Mesh shorts.
Yeah.
I wear boy shorts and I rollerblade. And I go, this is for you, Ernest. And I look to that North Star and I point.
I walk out, I'm just triple fat, no goose. Oh, Ernie and the
But
boys.
don't you
look at
think
it.
there are times where you're doing things that are physical or mental, and you know you can supersede the circumstances with frame of mind?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
ever think that?
Oh, for sure. For sure. But I don't think about that as much physical stuff, because I don't do a lot of physical stuff, right? Like I don't go out for a walk. But when I think about, like, I'm trying to problem solve,
Yeah.
or if I'm thinking, right, work through something like an issue that's coming through, like I'm trying to think of an example of something, but oh, okay. Let's say I have like a big decision to come through, and you break it down with a process, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'll think of Gary Oldstein, who's like a. You ever hear the story of Gary Oldstein? I read a book about him. So Gary Oldstein, him and his.
Are you making shit up?
Him and his 12
You're
friends.
making. Okay, here we go.
they were stuck in Pennsylvania. Okay, the car broke down.
You know,
I'm telling you a story. You know a story about Gary Oldstein? The car broke down in Pennsylvania. Okay,
Sure.
There's 10 of them in the woods. Okay,
Joe.
that's a lot of similarities to yours. Okay, they didn't know they had to go up the mountain and down the mountain, and 6 of the guys were waiting for them on the other tree. And they guess back, and Gary Oldstein didn't lose one man. And I
Great.
think about it all the
Thank
time.
you. This is the Donner Party. That's what you're telling me. Okay.
No, I do. No, I do think about that a lot. I was making a joke there, but I do think about people who work through. I hate the saying "it could be worse." I do hate that saying.
Yeah.
I do hate that because it's always like you're comparing your misery to somebody else, which is never. Nobody's story is equal. Nobody's circumstance is equal, right? It could be worse. Of course, it could be worse. It also could be better. So which way are you picking it up from? Like which way are you looking at? You know, it doesn't make any sense to say that. It could be worse. It could be better. You know, so it doesn't make any sense to me for that saying. But I will say, sometimes I think of, okay, this is my biggest problem. Okay, so how do we solve this problem? Well, people are out there solving way bigger problems. You know? So I could relate to it in that way, I would say.
But could be better is the mindset that people are in. And that's why you say, well, it could be worse. Because your present isn't where you want to be because it should be where it's better.
Yeah, but it's
so when it's not better, you're going, well, it could be worse.
No, I think
medicating yourself back to the present.
No, I think people there are downgrading their present. I think they're downgrading. They say, well, it could be worse. This is what they're dealing with, but no, it could be better if you work harder. See what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at it the other way. Yeah. You know, you're saying it could be worse. Where people are like, you know, oh, I got this flat tire. Hey, it could be worse. You know, but like that in that situation, yeah. But a lot of people are like, hey, you know what? I only make this much, blah blah blah. It could be worse, but yeah, it could also be better if you worked harder. You disciplined yourself in a different way. So I think it depends on the way that the intention behind the saying.
I think that's probably what our listeners think when they listen to the podcast.
No, they think it is worse. It's getting worse.
It is worse.
That's Two Cool Moms presents It Is Worse.
Should be better.
Well, it looks like we found our title. Two Cool Moms episode, whatever number, it is worse.
All right, we have time for a couple more.
Thank goodness.
So
it could be worse.
It also could be better.
Charlie says, I'm turning 40 in a few weeks, and my husband is 10 years younger than I am. We're a gay couple interested in adopting in the future, but my age is a concern for me. My idea was to adopt an older kid and get some years back, but my husband is interested in a baby. What should we do?
Get both. Get one of each.
How old is?
So Charlie's 40 and his husband is 10 years younger than him.
So 30, 40 and 30. I did the quick math there for you.
40 is not
40 is not too. I had my second kid at 40.
I was 30.
I was 30. I was 39 when I had my first one, and 41 when I had my second one. Yeah.
Yeah, 38 when I had my first. So it's like, what's the big one?
I think you get some time. I do see if you want to be there and be able to establish a better future for the kid and have more time to set them up when we just spoke about how like you don't remember much before 6 or 7, right? I think he's trying to cut that time out. If you get a 7-year-old, whatever, you're starting to make memories and bonding with the kid instantly.
Right, yeah.
Or having more of an impact, should I say, in their long-term life plan, you know.
Right.
You get more different years. But then there's benefits to both sides. I could see both sides of it. As far as what you could do here, I mean, we can't answer that for you. Mm-hmm. I would say talk about it as much as you can and see who's going to be less unhappy with the kid, right? Because somebody's not going to come out the way they want it to be.
Yeah, look, I would think that age, I think he's fixated on the fact that he feels older.
Yeah.
But again, I think much of what we talk about is frame of mind. So I think you got to stop with that because...
You could live to 90.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and then you get 50 years with this kid.
Robert De Niro just had a kid at 81.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So did Pacino. I think Pacino just the same thing. So my only question between you guys is who's the bottom?
It's a good question, I would say, maybe, but I don't know if it's one we should be asking, okay? Maybe we should try to...
Brass tacks, Chuck.
Figure it out.
Talk to me.
I do think mortality's on the mind, for sure, for Charlie, or whoever the old one is. I think it was Charlie. But mortality's on the mind for the older one. But then again, you never know how long it's going to, last. So whatever I think is going to make the couple happiest after you communicate about it, I think that's the route to go. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
I also think... I don't know.
I'm going to cut it before you say it.
I was seriously like trying to answer this.
Forget it. I'm just gonna cut it all out. That's great. No, I thought you were gonna make a joke.
No, I wasn't.
Well, you should start doing that.
How many beads is he up to?
We should leave Steve. We should name a full season called Cutting Room Floor.
Oh, 100%.
Starring Steve Byrne.
All of it.
I would love that.
All of it.
Yeah. I'd have to blur my face and use one of those, one of those voice.
You're like a
modulators.
Dateline.
Yeah.
So, Steve,
Well,
what were you
don't
doing
say that,
today?
Steve. We have to cut that out.
Just pixelated hover.
Oh, I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I would say to Charles that age should not be an issue at all. Obviously, it's what makes you happy, but please don't think you're too old to.
For sure.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad had me when he was 48, so
Oh,
there you go.
really?
he's 70 now. I'm 22.
Wow.
There you go. There's your
He's
answer.
thriving.
There's your answer.
There's
He's
your
living.
answer.
He's living.
And you're on meth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah. How
did you
freshly
know
off.
that?
Freshly
Yeah,
off.
freshly
meth.
off meth. Yeah.
Okay, last question. Allie says, this one's really fun. My boyfriend and I are going to Joe's show at Foxwoods and bought meet and greet tickets. What is something memorable we can bring or do so that you remember us forever?
I'll tell you right now. Take the picture and say thanks and get the fuck out. I mean, honestly, does everything have to? You mean so fucking much? We shut up. Just come in. If you just come in, you're polite and take the picture, he'll remember you because it never fucking happens.
This is what Steve. This is.
Be
I'll tell you
normal.
where this is coming from.
We
Ready?
want to eat.
Steve has been on the road
Fucking
with me,
A.
and we can't eat till after the meet and greet is
That's
done.
right,
Okay?
that's true.
And Steve is always hungry, and then I'll have my meet and greet. He'll be like, "How many in the meet and greet?" I'll be like, like 120. He'll be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" And I will come back to the green room, and he'll just be sitting there like an angry kid, like, and I'll be cranking through.
I had to talk to Jiggy. Ask him about his stupid elephant hats.
Stupid hats. Yeah. So now they're ducks. So I said, I that's coming from a place of I want to get out of here so I can feed Stevies.
No. But in all sincerity, I look. That's a you question. For me, I've just seen so many people. Look, I totally get it. Right? It's like a meet and greet. You finally get to meet somebody that you see on TV all the time. My thing is just be cool. Just be cool, and you'll stand out. It's the
real moments is always what's make it for me. I love when somebody, we have a real moment, you laugh about something and have a cool connection about things. For me, it's not like that's 100% of the time. Those are the people I'll remember. It'll be like, I met this really cool couple, or I met, them, and then and Mark and I will talk about it because Mark will be at the back of the meet and greet too, and we'll recap what we're talking about. But do you remember them and whatnot? I think just being real and being human, because it's awkward for me as well, right? Because it's a it's a weird experience to just be in there and waiting down a line of people come to see you like it's a wedding reception.
Sure, yeah.
So, but it's cool when it's just like it's normalized because I'm pretty normal, and people always say that too. They're like, "Oh, well, you don't act like. What am I gonna act like? I'm standing here, like, hi, how are you? You just saw me on stage, And I actually like to meet and greet a little bit more because I get to talk.
But
to
you
people,
disarm them with that,
Yeah.
literally with that.
I also have candies. I give people candy.
You can't, and I'm snacking on those.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
see.
mean?
I look at Stephen Accordi, he's just covered in chocolate, being like, "Are you done?" As he's got Snickers.
But
all
I ate
over.
almond joys. My appetite's ruined. But you do such a great job at connecting with your audience, and you're really, really giving. And I at times I think you're patient too.
For
Very
sure.
patient, because there are some. Look, I'm not saying everybody is, but there are certainly those people that feel they're owed something, or entitled, or overbearing, and you've always handled it with grace. I mean, some people are a little drunk, some people a little sauced. It just, you're seeing a gauntlet of emotions coming at you every time, and you're the great safecracker of knowing, okay, spin it to the left, to the right.
What's the right
there
thing
we
to do
go.
here?
Okay,
Yeah, for sure. But I would just say have fun and be normal. I think that's the best thing to do. And if you wanted to bring me something, I mean, I never shy away from
Baked goods.
A baked good.
He loves a baked good.
No. Yeah, I love hand drawn fan art. I think those are always fun.
Those are cool.
Or money, just cash in an envelope.
I like when people make custom
T-shirts.
shirts
The
of
best.
you or something.
Yeah.
those I find very funny.
I
like
that.
watching those.
People love doing that, and people love putting my dogs on stuff. That's always so fun too. Like,
Yes.
I have all these pictures, like people will draw my dogs. Well, right, this is a thing on our set right here is from a fan that drew two of my favorite dogs, Spumoni and Biscotti, and gave them me at a meet and greet. But yeah, I would just say I don't need anything. I just need you to have a good time and come out and laugh.
You know, it's so crazy. I mean, I know we're drawing to a close, but I had an experience recently. I was in Vegas, and it was like a double whammy. So I'm in Vegas doing the Kimmel show, and there's a young man with sunglasses on, right? And I'm kind of like needling him a bit because he's out with his mom. And I eventually ask him, I'm like, are you visually impaired, or are you just super cool? He's like, no, I'm legally blind. I can't see, and I'm out here. And I go, oh, okay, well, by the end of my show, you're going to wish not only can you not see, that you couldn't hear. And the audience kind of groans, and he laughs. He laughs hysterically, right? And I make a few other kind of like blind jokes or whatever, and the audience is kind of groaning, and he's dying laughing.
Yeah.
And I come down to the audience. I go, you guys don't get it. Like, he told me he's blind for a reason, because he wants to be included. He wants to, and that's the thing. Like, I think people think is like, they hear these things and just like, the experience of going to a comedy show is so cathartic sometimes to people
100%.
that he's going around.
You're one of the crowd. You're one of the group. Yeah.
It's a pity party, right? Or, oh my God, he can't see. Is that what it is? It's like, no, it's the opposite. He wants to be shit on because this is his everyday life. And he literally was one of, and I said, I never asked to take pictures with the audience, but I took a picture with him and his mom because they were such great sports.
That's fantastic.
And literally right across from him was a young woman who was by herself. And I go, oh, what happened? You know, how awful is your personality or whatever? And so I pressed, and she goes, well, I'll just tell you, I'm a widower, and this is like my first night out. I go, oh my. And so the three of us ended up doing a shot together, the blind kid and this young lady. And then she became another focal point. And it was one of those things where I never had a show like that, where you have these two individuals that are like, you see my show, where they're allowing me to kind of go to these vulnerable parts and expose it, but also it be cathartic. And she came up to me after this show, and she's like, I needed this so bad.
I love that.
And it's one of those things where it's like,
you'll remember her forever.
I literally will remember her forever, and I'll remember him forever, and I'll remember that show. And it's countless shows I've done, right? But I will absolutely remember that show. So sometimes, like, when somebody's like, hey, this is really cool to be here and meet you, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's like you hear what somebody's going through, what brought them to that intersection of light between you and them. And that, to me, is like, that's when it's like,
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it gets cool for you to be that person.
It gets real cool,
I love that. Yeah, I hear what's good.
And to know this, like, this is the sandbox I get to play in for an hour. This is going to be the best, and I have your permission, and you're on board, and you're going to have a great time. And we ended up, I think, doing 2 or 3 shots together, and she got sauced, and then he got sauced, and the mom was like, the mom was just like over the moon. Like, this is and they were from Germany. And,
oh, wow.
Just visiting from Germany, and they couldn't have been nicer.
You couldn't understand a word of your show, buddy. Oh, that's great, dude. Well, that's it. I love us. I love you.
I love us.
I love us. I love the cool moms. I love what we've done here today. This is fantastic. I mean, this episode could have been worse, could have been better.
We give and we give and we give. And all they do is take. All you guys do is take.
But you do give us good questions. And speaking of which, where can they give us good questions?
twocoolmomspod@gmail.com,
or on Instagram @twocoolmomspod. Please follow us there. And of course, like, review, share, all that stuff. Come see us on the road. If you want to get made fun of by Steve, you can get tickets to his shows.
Punchup.live, Steve Byrne. And
if you want to meet me at mine, come to joegatoofficial.com.
There we go. And Joe, you're constantly touring. You're in the middle right now.
I'm in the mix.
I'm in the
mix right now. Yeah. You too. Yeah.
My tour has not stopped since 2010.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
And you're getting the hang of it, kid. Hang in there. You're doing great.
One of these days. One of these days.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.
These mommies love you, so show us some love.
Please rate us and review us. Follow us on all social media and subscribe to our YouTube.